So really quick, just to bring some context of how we all got here. Now, like we said, we shot this interview prior, and at that particular moment in time, every emotions were still running high in regards to the Vlad situation. Now we know that Jamar, you've conducted a few interviews since then, so I'm sure to our audience, it probably feels like at this point, uh, we're beating a dead horse with it, but that is,
Yeah, we still gotta
that
we still gotta get this brother's
but
take on it and
but that
how he got
was,
into it. Hmm.
that was initially, up to my understanding, right, Jamar, your reason for reaching out to
Absolutely,
Royce
he was the first one basically
being
that
one of
we
the,
interviewed about it. Before
right,
Cam, before my son.
yes.
Um,
I just want people to know that because I did see a couple of comments of, oh, okay, so no, we need to understand, and that's another thing too. I just want to say to people like, I know sometimes giving things too much energy can also be a bad thing, but we also don't want it to just go away. We don't want this to be, oh, we wasn't fucking with Vlad on this week or this moment, and and now it's all good. Like, people need to really understand how serious this is. I personally, I don't really have a rapport with Vlad the way you gentlemen had. I did, I have done a couple of interviews with him in my career, but I've always, I've always had my reservations about him, and I'll just reiterate them from the previous interview. I said my issue with Black, and by all means, he seemed like a cool dude. I pretty much met him through you, Jamar, and we hit it off. He definitely expressed that he's a supporter of Rob Digger, and I've seen him, tweet things. Let the choppers fly on the on the barbs on my behalf, things of that nature. So, you know, I just I recognize that. But one of the things, and I even brought this to Vlad's attention when he was a guest on the show, was that the difference between his platform and a lot of the other platforms, like a Lipstick Alley or a Boston or a Shade Room, is I don't like the fact that he doesn't let things go. It's like something will be a hot topic for 48 hours, 72-hour shelf life, and then it's on to the next salacious topic. The thing that always bothered me with Vlad was how he would constantly bring something up to different guests and different guests and different guests, and inadvertently cause tension amongst these guests with each other, outside of his platform. One example is you two gentlemen, Royce and Jamar. We saw Vlad drag the guest and hip hop conversation out over and over and over again to any and everybody who came up there. I've seen him, I've
when
seen
I
him do
didn't
it,
want it, when I didn't want it dragged out.
right,
You see what I'm saying? Just like he don't want this dragged out right now either.
and I
No,
and I,
it's
I I saw him do it recently with the Nick Cannon situation, and then DL Hughley made some comments in regards to Griff, and Griff didn't take it very well, and he's on his platform, venting about DL Hughley. It's like, wait, I don't want to see DL Hughley and Professor Griff exchanging words, like, and this is a result of this man's platform. So that is something that has always bothered me about Vlad, because I feel like the other sites, they just post things and go. But Vlad is in person, and he's keeping conversations going that sometimes should just be put to rest. So that's always been like a point of contention for me with his platform.
yeah. I mean, I,
Facts.
I I definitely agree with that. I, I agree with you with what you said about him as a person. As far as what I know about him as a person, like I had a pretty decent relationship with him, industry type of relationship with him. He always seemed cool. I don't think he's like a racist or nothing, no shit like that. I just think he comes from a different culture, and sometimes we have what I call a culture clash. Sometimes
Right.
lines get crossed sometimes unintentionally, and then like if you've been around long enough and you know how to read the room, a lot of times intentional. Like I
Hmm.
think that the whole minister thing, that was personal. That was a personal attack. Like, and I,
Absolutely.
I think we need to be able to identify with those moments so we can hold people accountable, because that's all I was saying. And then all of us witnessed a straight up snowball effect. Straight up snowball effect. Because what he does is, he uses platform to attack, and then he uses divide and conquer to not apologize, and then he that gives him confidence, and then he turns around and now he's bullying us. I'm gonna negotiate with you about how I'm gonna respect you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I took it, and it's difficult to do that and express it without making it seem like I'm trying to get everybody else to take it like that too, because I understand how it is to have a relationship with somebody, and it's like he's gonna lie, he's gonna go, oh my bad, I didn't mean nothing by it. But it's like I spoke to Vlad. He said that he may have dropped the ball this time on the minister thing, but the minister has said other things in the past
Right.
that has offended him. So he's because of that, he's not going to apologize. And then he went on to say, I'm cool with mice, right?
He
Like,
even got into the science of, I forgot about this, but he even got into the science of Yakub. He started talking about the science of Yakub and how the white man was created, like that was ridiculous or some shit like that. I said, is that any more ridiculous than fucking a snake talking to a woman or some shit like that? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he realized, like, oh shit, like, yeah, I guess there's a lot of uh stuff in religion, but this whole thing about a scientist. You see what I'm saying? Like this dude definitely had a personal beef with just the ideology of the Nation of Islam and anybody that may think like that.
and I understand that, like I think that's okay too. I just think he needs to be able to separate his personal feelings from what's being conveyed on his platform.
Right.
Not that I want to be able to control what's conveyed on his platform, but I have to be aware that he built his platform in black culture.
Right.
He has no platform without black culture. It's very easy to make yourself seem like you're some like boss within our culture if nobody's checking you for none of the stupid shit that you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, if everybody can just see that for what it is, him for what he is, then he's not really that important at all. And that's no disrespect. It's just what it is. We're the divine ones. We're the great ones. You know what I mean? Like, we lend our credibility to things and they last. You know what I mean? The only difference
Facts.
is the platforms and the things and the media outlets and the people that we lend our credibility to and that we give away our swag to, they have a better understanding of what it's worth. So it's just
Hmm.
like we can take all the time we need to figure out how to place value on ourselves. Just in the meantime, let's not let anybody walk all over us, because if we send that message, if we send that signal, then everybody's going to do it, and it's going to slow that process. By the time our kids come into this shit, they're going to be worried about making every little mistake, and Vlad's kids are gonna come into this shit and drag his nuts through the culture and stomp through here without a care in the world and play musical chairs with all the executive seats with a red carpet rolled out for him because the power has
Right.
been preserved.
Right.
We gotta infiltrate. We gotta either infiltrate or build somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean,
Well, we over here
along
building.
with that, we gotta just establish boundaries. That's all. Like, we don't have to like bully anybody or be like, yo, this is how you should talk. Yo, man, I think it's a place for his platform. Like, it's an ignorance that's relative. You outgrow it, you don't look at it. Just don't
Hmm.
use it to feed narratives that are hurtful to our culture. Like criticizing Dame as a father feeds a
Right.
narrative that's shaped around black men that are to our detriment. You don't
Right.
have the right to do that on a platform in black culture. Let's
Right.
put aside how important Dame is. Let's not use semantics and say Dame's not as important as Farrakhan. He is to somebody, maybe not you, but he's still Dame Dash. And you're just DJ Vlad. You'll never be Dame Dash. You don't have to agree
Right.
with him, But Dame Dash built Rockefeller Records. If he didn't build Rockefeller Records, I'm not sitting here right now. Vlad didn't build anything. He's selling us our own trauma. You know what I mean? Like, as long as he can put that into perspective and stay in his place, he'll get nothing but respect from me. I'll go do interviews and all of that. But if he can't respect the minister and he's just in here just, just tracking mud through the house on the carpet, then he can't have a relationship with me. And I'm just at a point in life where I'm not gonna allow anybody in my life that's not respectful. I don't want to be involved in stupid shit. I don't want to talk to stupid people. I did that in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like, it's about elevating now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any room in my life to sit around with Vlad and talk about all of the niggas with integrity that he's cool with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck about that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Let's all be respectful. And I'm not asking for anything that I'm not 100% willing to reciprocate. It's nothing unfair about what I'm requiring. You know what I mean?
True indeed. True indeed. Man,
Mm-hmm.
see, I feel like people like me, people like Godfrey, we was trying to, I guess, bring some sort of balance to the shit. So where it wasn't all some bullshit. You can actually go there, and for some people you could get some form of knowledge. That is what I will give him. Because some of these other sites wasn't even giving you that. And him as a white dude, he didn't. I will always say he didn't necessarily have to put that type of knowledge up there. He could have kept it all 100% negative. Um,
I do
so
think your
that's kind of
interviews.
why I fucked with him. You see what I'm
Your,
saying?
I will. I mean, to you guys' credit, no, your interviews, Jamar, your interviews, Godfrey, very informative. You checked him in certain capacities. The banter it was dope. It wasn't like one of the little kids that have zero media training that's just sitting there talking about where they buried the bodies and shit.
Right,
That,
right,
the normal Vlad interviews. No, I think what you did was great, and I give credit where credit is due. I think people really got to see how unapologetic you were, Jamar, which lended itself to even helping us boost this situation here at the Godcast. Like, people were just so enthralled with hearing you speak on Vlad that they wanted to hear you without Vlad, which ultimately led to this situation manifesting. So it wasn't, you know, I won't take that away from him, but I also feel like the the things that the stuff that is perpetuated on his platform oftentimes, does more harm than good, especially for the young people that aren't so interview savvy and media savvy and don't know when to stop talking.
Yeah,
right.
well, I
And
think we just different. Black people are just different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if we fuck with you, we fuck with you. If we tell you we love you, we love you. And we're looking for that in return. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's like, with him, it's not that he's not capable of like having a relationship with us. He's just one of those people who loves the idea of us.
Mm.
Like, if I'm with somebody and I'm like, yo, this is my man. I trust him with my life, and I'm basing that just off of him being around me for a long time. And then when we're finally in a situation where my life is on the line and he's not there, then that's a letdown for our whole relationship. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, if you're given an opportunity to show the love and respect that you have, that's when you step up to the plate. I'm not going to retroactively go and point out all of the good that you may have did and find the silver lining in you, and you can't even place enough value on, number one, your relationship with me, and number two, your respect for our culture, that you can't even place enough value to outweigh how big your ego is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's underwhelming, because it's like, man, I wasted all that time being cool with this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I could have put that energy into building a better relationship with my son. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Mice hung out with this motherfucker for years. You know what I mean? He goes back
Yeah.
to him after arguing with me, and he shitted on him immediately. He wasn't even slick about it, man. It's so like, It's so evil
Crazy.
to me. You know what I mean? But not that I think he's an evil person. I just think he's not divine as us. So he doesn't realize how fucked up that is. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people can't feel on our level. And that's a strength.
I believe Nick said something to that degree.
Huh?
I said,
See,
I believe Nick said something to that degree.
see,
Yeah,
when
it's
you
like
talk,
it's like
when you,
Something
people.
about a lack of melanin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just I don't think anybody is plugged into this earth the way we are. It's just something about us that's just different.